Hey everybody, what is going on? HexLex here. I got another Master Duel video for you. And would you be surprised if I built another 60-card Synchro pile deck? So this time, I'm looking to take the Adventure Synchron engine, or deck rather, as a whole, right? And add a TG, I was gonna say engine, but like the TG part really does end up being its own line a lot of the time too. So yeah, TG Adventure Synchron is where we're at here for today. The idea for this deck came from, I was thinking about like Adventure Synchron and other like engines I could splash into, and I was thinking about the fact that, like, you know, we already play Yubels plus Poplar for Adventure Synchron stuff inherently. Like, sneaking in Snake Eye Ash and other Snake Eye cards really isn't that, you know, big of a jump to make, right? But I was like, do I really just want to add Snake Eye to this deck? I really didn't feel like that was that exciting. And then I remembered, oh, Snake Eye Ash also gets you into a TG combo line. And the prospect of adding TG to this deck did excite me a little bit more. I will fully admit, and I might even like go so far as to like put this in the title or thumbnail or something, but I might have overcooked a little bit on this one. So, let me start by talking about like some of these synergies that the decks do share, right? Of course, both decks are entirely synchro focused, meaning that you know, by using, for example, like a junk speeder or another effect that would lock you into only synchro summoning, you're not disrupting any of your TG plays, right? Our old TG Snake Eye decks did play some Link monsters, but that was really more to support a Snake Eye line. You don't actually really need Link monsters in order to make TG plays. TGs do have their own Link monster, the Trident Launcher, but I gotta be honest, I kind of don't think this card is really that good. It's like, you know, especially in a TG deck, you're going to be using 3 monsters to make it. And yeah, it does summon 3 monsters, and that is, you know, impressive. It's very specific, and it's summon 1 from hand, 1 from deck, 1 from grave. Mostly having to have like 3 bodies on board to make this, and then another body in hand to be able to use the effect, right? Because you have to summon 1 from every single place, right? If you don't have any TGs in hand, I'm pretty sure you just don't get to summon the 1 from deck or graveyard either. So, also, we don't really have any Link climbing we're gonna do with this card because we're such a synchro focused deck. So, I'm not really that big of a fan of the Trident Launcher myself, but yeah, to do the main TG combo line, you only need the synchros anyway. And like I said, we are already a very synchro-focused deck. As I touched upon, we're already playing Yubel / Snake Eye stuff, like Bonfires too. So it's a very natural inclusion for the Ash and the Rocket Salamander in that regard. Already works well with an engine we're already playing. So, you know, those are the natural synergies these two decks have together. On top of both willing to play stuff like Crimson Dragon and Hyper Librarian. However, when I say I overcooked here a little bit, what I mean is that these two decks don't really actually end up synergizing in practice as well as it might look on paper, for a couple of reasons, from both a deck building and gameplay perspective. Let's start with the deck building aspect. While the TGs don't require a lot of main deck commitment, literally you just need 5 main deck slots, well 6 if you count Snake Eye Ash, but the 5 TG cards you play in the main deck are 1 Tank Grub, 1 Rocket Salamander, 1 Screw Serpent, 1 All Clear, and 1 Close. Those 5 plus Snake Eye Ash are the only 6 cards we had to add to the main deck, which again, especially in a 60 card deck, is not that big of an ask, right? The extra deck, on the other hand, also required us to add 6 cards, which is a fair bit. It's like just enough more than Adventure Synchron can really afford. Because if you look at the extra deck here, we had to take out quite a few things that are pretty core to Adventure Synchron's main combo line, right? No Trishula, so we can only do 2 hand rips and not 3. Oh no. But also no Majestic Star Dragon. So we don't have another level 10 Crimson Dragon target. And also no Black Rose. It makes going second actually quite a bit harder. So there are a fair few amount of synchros we'd like to play for the Adventure Synchron side that the TG package ends up eating too much room for, because between Mighty Striker, Star Guardian, 2 Overdragon, you do have to play 2, Blade Blaster, and Glaive Blaster, that's 5 TG synchros, and then we're also playing the Cosmic Blazar, so that way we have, you know, a level 12 synchro to go into off the TG line. But the other thing about the TG line is that, unlike Junk Speeder, which only locks you into synchros in general, which again we don't care about at all, Over Dragonar actually just locks you into TG summons for the entire turn. So yeah, if you're committing to a TG combo line, you can't, like, if you get disrupted, you can't then pivot into an Adventure Synchron line, right? I guess the idea here is that you would want to pivot from a Synchron line into a TG line, which happens occasionally. Like, sometimes your, like, adventure engine or something will get negated, and then you can just go for, like, a TG package as well. I will say, the nice thing about having TGs as a backup plan is that it's not hard to get into, right? If you have, like, a Diabel, like, let's say you open Diabel plus Rite of Armistier plus Jet Synchron, you could start by going for your Synchron combo line with the Adventure plus Jet Synchron, and then if at any point that gets disrupted, and you have the field, you know, the room on your field, right, you can just send a card to Special Diabel, and then that combo line can get you into your... Like, Diabel by herself can get you into your TG combo line. Again, though, there's a bit of an anti-synergy with that, in that we want to be prioritizing the Synchron line a lot of the time, but we can't do a full Synchron line because of the TG stuff we have to play in the extra deck. So, yeah, that's why I say I think I overcooked with this list a little bit. I don't admit this very often, but, like, this build that I'm going to showcase, I actually don't know if I can recommend that you try it out, you know, and expect to have, like, amazing results with it. But if you want to try it out and make improvements on it, that's of course always welcome. Although I will say, again, for the reasons I listed, I don't think TG plus Synchron is necessarily going to work out the way that I hoped it would. But, you know, this is why we experiment. This is why we try things out. And we did still get some pretty good wins, such games in general, that we're going to see here in a moment. Even if I don't think this particular build is the way to go, we can still see how the concept works out. You will actually see, I think if I recall correctly, a game where we do pivot from the adventure stuff into the TG stuff. So I will show some proof of concept here. I just don't know how good the concept actually is, right? So, all right. For this one, you know what? Why not? I'll do the card-by-card breakdown. Synchron, although we've covered it a lot this season, isn't the most popular deck, so maybe people don't know some of these cards, and I know the TG stuff is probably not going to be that familiar to a lot of people, so let's break it down. For this build, we're on 1 Cyframe Driver, 2 Effect Veiler, 2 Jet Synchron, 1 TG Tank Grub, 1 TG Rocket Salamander, 1 Snake Eye Ash, 1 Snake Eyes Poplar, 3 Max C, 2 Cyframe Gear Gamma, 2 Assault Synchron, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 Water Enchanters of the Temple, 2 Revolution Synchron, 1 Junk Servant, 3 Reborn Tengu, 1 TG Screw Serpent, 2 Stardust Synchron, 1 Stardust Trail, 1 Wandering Griffin Rider, 3 Diabel Star the Black Witch, 1 Foolish Barrel, 1 1-for-1, 3 Tuning, just got 2 different artworks there, but 3 Tuning, 1 Stardust Illumination, 3 Small World, 3 Rite of Armistier, 2 Bonfire, 1 Original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye, 1 Sinker Rumble, 1 Dracoback the Rideable Dragon, 1 Fateful Adventure, 1 TG All Clear, 2 Call by the Grave, 1 Cross-Out Designator, 1 Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils, and finally, 1 TG Close. Whew, and that rounds out our 60 card main deck. For the extra deck, we're on 1 TG Mighty Striker, 1 TG Hyper Librarian, 1 Junk Speeder, 1 TG Star Guardian, 2 TG Over Dragonar, 1 Stardust Dragon, 1 Cyframe Lord Omega, 1 Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon, 1 TG Blade Blaster, 1 Baron de Fleur, 1 Bestial Dissipator, 1 Cosmic Blazar Dragon, 1 Crimson Dragon. We got 1 TG Glaive Blaster, and that is going to round out the extra deck. So there is our list. Let's go ahead and see these duels. Okay, our first opponent is going to be on Yubel. It's a very weird build, I do have to say. They're playing 3 Black Goat Laughs, as well as 3 Solemn Judgment, which is definitely not typical, but I guess not the worst decision in the world either. Anyway, we're going to be going second for this game. We have a pretty solid going second hand here, opening up the Maxi and the Ash Blossom. But it's going to opening for the Dark Beckoning Beast and then activate the Dark Beckoning Beast. You may be wondering, Hex, why have you not activated your Ash Blossom yet? Well, I always gotta shout out this video because I spent so long working on it, and I would really like it to get more views, but check out my hand trap guide. If you click on to my channel page, you just click the name Hexlex, and it'll take you to my channel. The featured video is my hand trap guide, and I talk about this a lot, where the most important thing to know about playing hand traps in Master Duel is to know your opponent's deck, right? So I see opening for Dark Beckoning Beast, and I assume they're on Yubel, right? And I know that there are much better Ash targets than, well, you know, this stuff, right? On top of that, I do also have the Maxi, so we have that for some potential disruption as well. Now here I see the Nightmare Throne, and this I will Ash Blossom. The reason I Ash the Nightmare Throne and not the opening slash Beckoning Beast is because if my opponent is playing Yubel, then I want them to keep them off of Yubel cards. And I know that Beckoning Beasts and, you know, Chaos Summoning Beasts, that can't get them to their Yubel engine. It can only really end them on, like, the Unchained stuff. So if I Ash Blossom the Nightmare Throne, then that'll stop the Yubel package from coming out. And that's one of the many reasons why I save the Ash Blossom here. So yeah, we're negating the Nightmare Throne. But spoiler alert, it's not going to super matter because they have 1-for-1 here. But we do have Maxi, so I guess it doesn't matter in that regard, right? Like, yes, they have access to their Yubel stuff anyway, but now they're under Maxi. So, get some of the Samsara Lotus there. Looks like they are going to use the Lotus F for Spirit of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel F to set the Nightmare Pain, which they're then going to activate, but then not use the effect, right? Yeah, after they summon a Phantom of Yubel. So, then pass back over to me. So, ending on Phantom there. Getting a +1 even after using the Ash Blossom is pretty good. I'm going to lead with the Rite of Armistier. Basically, I'm going to use my Adventure engine here in order to get rid of this Phantom, because I can add Draco back and equip it without having to activate any monster effects. You'll notice I've not activated a single monster effect so far on my turn. Excuse me, and sure enough, here's the Draco back bouncing the Phantom. This does let the Nightmare Throne activate, but I would so rather deal with Spirit than Phantom. Like, obviously, it's like just so much better that way. So, gonna take this opportunity to throw out the Wandering Griffin Rider, establish my Omni Negate. And you may be wondering, your Omni Negate, you just synced it away. Nope, we still have an Omni Negate. It's the Baron de Fleur now. So here I can special summon the Diabell Star. Gonna send the Draco back to do so. Activate the effect to set the original Sinful Spoils. OSS effect. I'm going to use that to send off the Diabell Star for Jet Synchron. Now I'm going to sync the Jet Synchron and my Adventure token for the Junk Speeder. Yeah, like I said, you end up prioritizing the Synchron line in a deck like this a lot of the time. Well, and not only because, you know, the TG line locks you into TGs, whereas the Synchron line doesn't really lock you into anything, because we're on only Synchros anyway, but also because of board space, right? TG actually needs, like, literally, well, I guess Synchron does too, to be fair, all 5 of the main monster zones plus the EMZ in order to be able to do its combo line, right? So, alright, going for the Crimson Dragon here, Crimson F, gonna go for the Synchro Rumble. Gonna sack off one of my Jet Synchrons for the Stardust Dragon here, or Stardust Synchron, rather. Oh, I think this was, I had a few games where I forgot to put in Illumination. So if you're wondering why I didn't add that off Synchron, it's because Stardust Illumination, the spell card, wasn't in my deck. I forgot to put it in for this game. I think maybe one of the other ones we're going to see here too, but not going to really matter for this one, because we already had access to Trail anyway. Alright, here's our Stardust Dragon. Now I can sync Stardust Dragon and Assault Synchron for the Bestial Dispater. This will proc the Assault Synchron F in the graveyard, as well as getting a couple of draws. Oh, no, it doesn't. Sorry, I thought it proc the Assault Synchron. I thought we had a second one in there. I guess not. But doesn't really matter anyway. I mean, I'm just going to Baron pop the Spirit. Now that I've drawn the Call By, I can just use Call By on the Spirit without having to use any of my, like, on-board negates, right? I can just swing for lethal here. But yeah, like in this kind of a situation, you know, the Crimson Dragon, it added Synchro Rumble, but other than that, it didn't really have much else to do because I don't have another level 10 target for it, and I can't really Synchro for 12 to be able to go into Blazar, because Glaive Blaster needs a Synchro Tuner and then Synchro Non-Tuners, which, like, you can occasionally pull that off without doing a full TG combo line, like just using your Synchron stuff, but it's really, really hard. You'd have to have a very specific hand to do it. Yeah, that's our first game there. I want to show us winning going second here for our first one. Let's take a look at our next duel here. All right, for this duel, we've got one up against Tenpai. Can you believe it? Yeah, Tenpai's play rate has started to go down, I've noticed, but it's still overwhelmingly high. But at the same time, I think it's a lot of new deck hype. And I mean, Tenpai especially had a ton of new deck hype going into it, right? Alright, so here we're once again starting off with Synchron stuff. You're just gonna do Tengu plus, I think, 1-for-1, was it? Yeah. To go for our combo line here. Using the Junk Servant F, or Jet Synchron, rather, to add the Junk Servant here. Speeder summoning out the tuners, and then we get another Reborn Tengu, so... That was the nice thing about Reborn Tengu, is like giving you that non-tuner body, right? And even multiple copies of it, so... now here we can go for an 8 using Stardust Synchron and Reborn Tengu. That's going to be the Excel Synchro Stardust. I think maybe I should have gone for Omega first, that I'm thinking about it, because then I could have used Rev Synchron plus Speeder to make Excel. But I guess this works too. Yeah, Tengu were out of targets anyway. Librarian's going to draw. I think I actually definitely should have made Omega first. Although I think this works, because didn't we mill... Hang on. We do have our second Assault Synchron in the yard. That's what I was thinking of last game. I was thinking of this moment from this game, where we're able to use the second Assault Synchron effect in the graveyard to bring back Excel. Yeah, if you're wondering why Assault Synchron didn't activate during the last duel, it's because I didn't have a second copy in the graveyard. You're wondering, well, why would you need a second copy of that in the graveyard? That doesn't make any sense. Well, the reason is that Assault Synchron, in order to get the banish this card from your graveyard to summon a Dragon Synchro that was tributed or banished. To get that effect, Assault Synchron has to already be in the graveyard when that monster is tributed. So, like, if you control Assault Synchron and Excel Stardust, but you don't control any Assault Synchrons in the graveyard, and then you activate Excel Stardust to tribute for Stardust, and then Synchro Assault plus Stardust, right? You don't get that Assault Synchron's activation because it was on the field at the moment when Excel tributed itself. But again, here we had a second copy in the graveyard, so that's why it works here. So I wanted to make sure I clarified that. Alright, now we're going to sync for 8 to make our Omega, and we're going to start hand ripping here. Alright, Omega F, as well as more draws off the Hyper Librarian. Alright, and that was Lightning Storm, okay. Okay, Stardust Synchron, I'm going to summon itself. Sync with the Excel Stardust that was brought back off Assault Synchron. I'm going to go for the Crimson Dragon. Crimson Dragon gets to add Synchro Rumble here. And then, of course, we're also going to end up using the Crimson Dragon F to summon out the Bestial Dispater. Thanks to Baron de Fleur. Rite of Armistice here is not an awful draw either, actually. Not at all. Like, this is the kind of board state where we could just add the adventure stuff to our end board, which I think I do. Or I might have tried to overcook with this combo line a little bit here. I'm trying to remember this game. Either way, we do get a second hand rip with Omega. This was going to be for Sangan summoning, so... Okay, yep, here's the Rite of Armistice for the token and the Fateful. And then I'm just going to use Fateful to add the Wandering Griffin Rider here. It's like, I don't care about discarding a card. I have so many in hand, so... Yeah, here's the Draco back. Milling the TG close for the Rev Synchron. Oh, yeah, that's right, because here I was trying to figure out if I could pivot into a TG line at all. Here's where I started to cook a little bit. So, we're going to summon over Dragonar, not use the effect. We have the Rocket Salamander up too. We Rocket Salamander for Screw Serpent to bring back the Rocket Salamander. Although, I wonder... I think... Hang on. So then we go for Star Guardians. Star Guardian F for Rocket Salamander, which we can normal summon. But I needed to work Tank Grub in here to be able to make a Mighty Striker. Because I can only special summon one monster off of Star Guardian. Yeah. You know, the funny thing is, like, I think there is a world where I could have actually summoned Glaive Blaster. Yeah, you see me here like trying to tinker with my board and my levels trying to make this work, and it's just not. Yeah, I needed to have used the Tank Rub to bring it off the back off the Synchro Rumble. Then I could have made Glaive Blaster. That's what I was trying to do here, was make Glaive Blaster just to see if it was possible. But I actually don't know if it would have been with this setup. I think it would have had to have done things in a very different way. Like I said, I would have needed to have gotten Tank Rub in the graveyard to bring back off of the Synchro Rumble, and then Star Guardian could have specialed the Rocket Salamander from hand. Those would have synced for the Mighty Striker, and then Mighty Striker... Oh, but that would be 2 tuners. Mighty Striker plus Over Dragonar plus... Well, but then I could have Baron popped the Star Guardian instead of the Hyper Librarian. And then I could have gone Mighty Striker plus Dragonar plus Librarian? Would have had to have been how I'd done it. But I don't know if that's possible. I think I would have needed a 6 Monster Zone to do that. Oh my god, it's so hard to figure out in my head. But, I mean, whatever. We still end on multiple negates and, hand rips. It's like, dang. Oh no, our botched combo line only ripped 2 cards in their hand, ended on an Omni, and a Monster negate, and a Destruction negate, and a 6 cards in hand. You know, it's like, poor us. Yeah, so here they're going to Lightning Storm, and then use the Droplet to do so. We are able to sync for Blade Blaster during their turn, and Blade Blaster can dodge a Lightning Storm here, meaning Lightning Storm literally only is going to destroy the negated and halved Baron anyway, so it's not like it really even matters here. They have 1 card left in hand. I still have Maxi, Ash Blossom, and Call By. Oh, and funnily enough, TG Close gets to set itself. It can't activate, of course, but... So there we go. Yeah, you could definitely see me overcooking here. But, you know, like I said, experimentation is my favorite part of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's why I love pile decks so much. And, you know, a lot of people complain about pile decks as like, oh, they always end on the same stuff anyway, which one isn't even true. Like, it's just not true. Many different pile decks end on many different things. People just see one Baron among, like, 4 or 5 monsters, and they're like, it's all the same, it's all the same. But, like, furthermore, like, a lot of people discount that, like, pile decks are all the same. You just, I mean, sure, you have different ways to get there, but, like, yeah, the getting there is a very important part. Like, and I find it very fun. Like, I find that kind of experimentation fun. And it's like, it's okay if other people don't find that fun. I just wish they would say that instead of saying, like, pile decks are boring and bad for the game. It's this constant thing that Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, well, humans really try to do to, like, make their point sound objective instead of just, like, their own opinion, right? Like, you know, pile decks are bad for the game is a much more, like, objective stance to get behind as opposed to, I don't like pile decks, which is really what they mean. But anyway, we have one more game we're going to check out here, so let's finish off with that one. And this is going to be another game of me going against Tenpai. This one's going to be a lot more focused on doing the TG combo line, but I'm just gonna warn you, I'm gonna mess it up. But to be fair, I also messed it up right at the very end, so most of what you see is going to still be applicable for the TG combo line. So here I'm going to start by going for a Fateful Stuff, Adventure, and then Griffin Rider. But the opponent's actually going to end up Ghost Ogring the Fateful Adventure, which is not ideal, certainly. And I figured, okay, I don't have access to a level 4 monster, so I can't really make level 4 non-tuner, so I can't really make Speeder anyway. So you know what? This is as good a time as any to pivot into a TG combo line, which is exactly what I did here. So gonna go Diabell Star, sending off the Griffin Rider for OSS, OSS for Ash, Ash for Rocket Salamander, normal Rocket Salamander, Rocket Salamander F, special and Tank Grub. Syncing the Tank Grub with the Snake Eye Ash in order to make our TG Mighty Striker. Mighty Striker F. Also, I didn't send the Tank Grub token here, but you can if you want to. It's like, you could summon the Tank Grub token here and it would be fine. Wouldn't interfere with the combo line. Alright, so Screw Serpent, getting back to Rocket Salamander. Here's where we go for Over Dragonar. By the way, I kind of glossed over it, but what we did just there with the Mighty Striker is we activated its effect to add TG All Clear. Then we used TG All Clear to pop our Mighty Striker to add Screw Serpent. When Mighty Striker was popped, it set the TG closed from our deck to the graveyard, and then the All Clear gave us an extra normal summon for the Screw Serpent. After normal summoning Screw Serpent, we brought back the non-tuner Rocket Salamander, and then that's how we've synced into Over Dragonar. Over Dragonar is Junk Speeder, but for TGs, it's just from the graveyard instead of the deck, so gonna summon our 4 TGs, and like I said before, we're now locked into summoning TGs for the remainder of the turn as well, so here's Hyper Librarian. Now we can summon our Tank Grub token. Again, you could have done that earlier. That's also fine. It doesn't matter when you do it. Alright, Screw Serpent plus Rocket Salamander is going to make the Star Guardian. Librarian gets us a draw, and then Star Guardian is going to add back the Screw Serpent from grave to hand. Alright, we're then going to use the Star Guardian F to special the Screw Serpent, sync it with our remaining level 1 non-tuner. Going for our second Over Dragonar. Basically, this could also be Power Guardian. We just need another level 5 non-tuner to TG. Also, one more thing I forgot to point out. You might be wondering how... Where is it? Screw Serpent plus Rockets or plus Tank Grub was able to equal Hyper Librarian when they're both tuners. Tank Grub, first effect, specifically does say that if it's going for a TG, you can use it as a non-tuner. So that's definitely another thing to keep in mind. But also keep in mind that that effect doesn't work when it's negated. So you can't, like, normal summon Screw Serpent, bring back Tank Grub, and then sync because it'll be a tuner because it's negated. So definitely keep that in mind. Alright, here's our Glaive Blaster. Now we're going to end up making the Blade Blaster. And here's where I screwed up. I'm just going to do a little bit of deck thinning here first, but... set the cross out, wanted to put back the OSS, draw, set imperm, and then I passed! Here's where I screwed up. I forgot to set the TG close from the graveyard. TG close can set itself from the graveyard when a Synchron monster is banished. So what I had to do was activate Glaive Blaster, banish my own Blade Blaster, and then use Glaive Blaster's second effect, to bring back the Blade Blaster. That way I'd be able to set the close and then keep my monster on the field. So, yeah, I missed out on having a counter trap Omni Negate, which is, of course, very, very important. So, that's where I misplayed here. I think I misplayed other ways, too. I did actually remember it. So, Blade Blaster I'm going to activate here. This isn't a misplay. You do actually have to activate Blade Blaster during the draw phase. That way it can come back during the standby phase. It comes back during the next standby phase, right? So if you do it during your opponent's draw phase, it'll come back during their standby phase. So Ghost Ogre is going to try to banish the Blade Blaster. We can use Glaive Blaster to dodge. But the problem now is that... Actually, I don't think this was a misplay. Because Blade Blaster... Hang on. During the next standby phase, after this card was banished by this effect. Okay, never mind. I didn't misplay. Yeah, because I banished Blade Blaster by Glaive Blaster's effect. I thought Blade Blaster would come back anyway, and I thought my misplay was that I used Glaive Blaster to bring it back instead of the Mighty Striker, which is what you're supposed to do normally if you don't get interrupted to make Crimson Dragon. But here I had to bring it back by Glaive Blaster's effect, otherwise it wasn't coming back at all. So, okay. So I did misplay by not setting close, which I could have used to stop this Lightning Storm. Then I could have impermed Pydra. And then they wouldn't have gotten Songen summoning, which wouldn't have added again Roku. Which I think will end up mattering. I'm just trying to remember what their last card in hand was. Because if it's like a Songen Kaiman, then it wouldn't have mattered. They would have been able to OTK anyway. Or to win anyway, in general, but... I don't remember if they're going to end up using it or not. We'll have to see. It's Shundra. Okay, so it didn't matter because they had Shundra. So even if I had... Okay, so even if I had remembered to set close, I would have used close on Lightning Storm, then imperm on Pydra, and they would have just specialed Shundra, and then been able to do some amount of comboing anyway. So I don't feel super bad about that misplay here, but I did make a misplay. I'm not gonna like try to deny that I did, you know. I just don't necessarily think it affected the outcome of this duel. Yeah, from here, they are going to have to go a little bit out of their way to combo to be able to get over my big monsters. But Trident Dragon, yeah, is able to do it because they can pop the field spell, Field spell F doubles a Trident Dragon attack. Now they can battle 3 times and over my monsters with a 6k beater. And they also have Bident Dragon and the level 10 as well, right? They have like just everything here. Oh wait, they weren't able to finish me off because... Wait, were they styling? I think they were just styling here. Yeah, they were just styling, okay. I was like, wait, is Trident Dragon only attacks against monsters? But no, they're just styling, okay. Yeah, I had kind of spaced out by this point. This was the point of the duel after they started going off where I was like, alright, I'm just gonna watch my YouTube video for a little bit. But I decided to see for a little bit if I could make plays, but ultimately realized, like, nah, I'm just cooked here, so... Alright, that's gonna go ahead and do it for that game as well as this video. So thanks as always, folks, for watching. I really do appreciate you. Let us go ahead and move on to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Just want to give you a huge thanks for watching all the way to the very end of the video. Believe it or not, that is actually one of the best ways that you can support the channel is by watching the videos in their entirety. But there are many ways in which you can support the channel if you are so interested. The names that you're seeing on screen here, I gotta give an extra special thanks to because these are people who have chosen to either become a member on YouTube, which if you're interested you can do as well via the join button next to the subscribe button down there, or have signed up over on Patreon and become members there. Link to that is going to be in the description below. Without the support that is being offered by, again, all the people that you're seeing on screen right here, I would not be able to take the time to dedicate to uploading daily YouTube videos. So thank you so very much. But there are also other ways you can support as well. Again, link to the description below. If you like my deck tracker that you'll see in a lot of my videos, the Untapped Companion, you can download that for free, and if you use my affiliate link down there, then that also goes a long way towards supporting the channel. That's, again, free. So is subscribing here on YouTube. That's also free and a huge way to support. You can also check out Twitch, once again linked in the description below. Following and subscribing over there will not only support as well, but also give you notifications of when I go live if you want to catch some of the live streams. But really, no matter how you choose to support, it all adds up and it all definitely means the world. So thank you, each and every one of you. For now, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out. But more than that, I'm hoping that you have a fantastic day.